All right, young scholars, this is me quickly going over your choices for honors classes, including AP and some electives. If you're interested in something like senior English seminar or moving to a CP class, there's another video for that. Anyway, Honors Brit Lit is a course at the honors level, obviously, where it's like this course, except that the theme or the focus is British literature. It's unlike this course in that it is what we would call a survey. It will go back to the earliest English poetry, like the epic poem, up to contemporary literature, with a focus on things like Shakespeare and uh, Jane Austen and that kind of stuff. There will be so you'd be going throughout the history of British writing. It wouldn't be limited to a particular period like our class is. Um, so that usually has a pretty what would you call it? Enthusiastic following. So it's works by British authors, plays, novels, poems. Like I said, it is a literary based course. All right. Honors Humanities is a great companion piece to this course, whereas Honors Modern Fiction takes you through the modern era. It is actually talking about how the modern era is different than almost everything that came before, and humanities covers everything that came before. Its thematic question is, what does it mean to be human? And it looks at various periods and cultures in Western civilization. It is less it is not as based in novels and poems and short stories. It will also deal with um, the philosophy of those periods, different art, and maybe even some architecture. But and it does move up to contemporary readings and writings, so you're not all in the past. All right. So mythology, storytelling, ancient and modern tragedy, storytelling, making sense of the senseless, and rhetoric, which is how to make argument. All right. So it's a very broad course. Again, this one goes from our earliest literature in Western civilization and philosophy of the ancient Greeks up to the modern sort of reflection on that, and how, again, you'll have a whole bunch of different things here. You'll be reading Greek tragedies, you'll be reading a little bit of Shakespeare, you'll be reading things about mythology and sort of cultural anthropology. All right. Honors. This is SUPA, the Syracuse University Project Advanced course. Their focus is writing a writing studio and a gender and literary texts. So what this course does is kind of split the year in half, with a focus mainly on writing, one half, and literature analysis on the other half. And the literature is going to be about sort of gender studies. Okay. In the second semester, you explore the construction and representation of gender, especially as it affects the production and reception of literary and cultural texts. All right, the first one is emphasizing precise writing and literary analysis. For the first semester, the emphasis will be on an introduction to academic writing. So, focus on the practices and analysis of argument, practices that carry across disciplines. So, in other words, this is like a first year in college writing course in the sense that you'll learn how to write for any subject area. A lot of you are not going to go into the humanities, so if you learn how to write the kinds of papers you would write for, research papers for science courses. Not that you'd be writing those here, but you'd learn how to do the research, how to construct the paper, citation, all that stuff. That would cross over into any field of study in college. All right, and then the literary, like I said, will focus on gender and how it's constructed with historical and cultural formations. I'm just kind of reading it from there. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. If not, that's a thing that you could ask me about. All right. And yes, this does cost money. So, and I think I'm sure you guys know all about the, whether you get credits at which colleges and whatnots. AP Language and Composition, that's the AP course that I'm teaching this year. This one is about rhetoric, which is writing for argument. It is both of the AP are very challenging courses in terms of your skill set. You need the A in the course, and my recommendation. This one has very little, actually, pretty much no fiction in it. You'd be reading a lot of smaller texts as well as bigger texts outside. And what you're doing is looking at how arguments are constructed. Rhetoric is argumentative writing. And then thematically, it's about citizenship, justice, science, and bioethics. All right. So the themes of the course are what shape the units. And then everything is preparing for, well, not everything. The main elements of the test are analyzing a piece of rhetoric or argument, and writing an analysis of that, writing your own argument, and then synthesizing an argument. Those are the 3 essays, and then the multiple choice section of the test. Synthesizing is taking several different texts and coming up with a unique argument. So if you had 7 different articles or essays about a topic like education, your task would be to read those and then synthesize your own opinion on whatever the topic on education is, funding, or whether the federal government should be involved or something like that. All right, so you would that one is a nonfiction study. English Lit and Composition is focused on literature. Okay, so this is about fiction. You do a lot about poetry. There is, let's see, it is, again, a lot of reading and a lot of analysis, but they really do dig into some of those things we were talking about: tone, syntax, diction, and your analysis has to go really deep, and your writing for that has to be obviously sophisticated. Okay, pause. In the realm of AP, but not necessarily the English department, are AP Seminar and AP Research Overview. Northern Highlands has, I don't know much about this. They're multidisciplinary, so you can ask me about them and whether I would recommend you or not. Seems to be about research, and the seminars is a critical thing. Okay, Okay, so just sorry for that. To clarify, the AP seminar is about researching an academic topic. You would learn the skills of research that you would use in different subject areas elsewhere. So this is a cross or interdisciplinary thing. So it could be through science and English, something like that. And then AP Research is a second course that would come after AP Seminar. And there are electives. Introduction to Theater and Acting, you would learn how to, it's the first of a sequence of acting courses where you would learn how the theater runs. Okay, the course will include theater history, activities, and technical theater crafts such as set design, decoration, costume design, etc., and how to produce plays and theatrical productions. All right, some introductory activities will include students doing learning a framework for future work. So it's not just learning to act; it's learning how the theater functions and what the sort of history and context of that is. Actors Workshop, you build on those things. So if you've taken Intro to Acting, you already know that whether you want Actors Workshop or not. And then there's Workshop 2 and 3. Another thing that is taught by English teachers, but for some reason is in Family and Consumer Sciences, is the Honors Tomorrow's Teachers. That is where you would learn about how to become a teacher, what goes into the profession of education. And it does include, in fact, a 9-week field experience that includes observations and assistance as well as practice teaching. So this is a course where you spend most of the year learning and how to make lesson plans, what goes into education, theory, philosophy, and approach to the practice of teaching. All right, and then at a certain point, you start observing other teachers in the 4 districts, and eventually you do sort of a little student teaching thing where you do some teaching. I can give you more on that if you're interested. And there's also a semester-long course called Public Speaking. The course is aimed at building confidence, competency, and pride in public speaking. All right, you learn the skills and habits of a good public speaker. 1 semester long. It's part of the interdisciplinary courses. And I think that's all I have to say on that. Let me know if you have any more questions.